A lot of people want to work in sports and sports media specifically, but not everyone's elite. Our next guest, Todd Brooks, is elite. He has turned a love and a passion for sports into a 30-plus year career, telling some of the biggest stories, working with the biggest brands and the biggest names in sports. Consumer journalism and public relations is his beat. So you're going to find out more about the inner workings of how to build a campaign that connects those dots. Please welcome my friend and my first boss, Todd Brooks. We are recording today from Athens, Georgia and Seal Beach, California. Is that correct?
Yes, Southern California, for sure.
How's the weather in Southern California?
The way it's supposed to be. That's why we pay the stupid taxes that we pay. It's going to be 73 and sunny. Yeah.
Bless. I am super jealous. I just love your anti-humidity out there. My hair does a lot better.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy I still have hair for it to be affected.
There you go. You have been doing brand storytelling for what, 30 years? Something crazy like that.
Yep.
Tell us, you graduated from the Ohio State University. Tell us a little bit about your story, Todd.
Yeah, I mean, short version, graduated college in 92, was able to play college volleyball, wanted to be a professional athlete, wasn't good enough. So turned my journalism degree into a career that has been every bit as rewarding as any career I could imagine.
And you've done a ton of work in sports, right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, so when I graduated college, like a lot of people, I was like, oh my gosh, now I got to figure out what I'm going to do in the real world. And so was able to get a first job in a small boutique PR firm in Southern California doing government relations and land use. And I was like, this is the rest of my life. I was like, this is awful.
What have I done?
Yes. And so I had an epiphany, and that was, what do you love? And that was sports. And I said, how do I make my career related to sports? And luckily, as marketers, really every industry, every vertical, everything needs some level of marketing. And I was able to get a first job in sports, and things took off from there. And I've had an incredible career, gotten to work with incredible people, household names that everybody would know, and really gotten to know people in different ways, far from what the persona is that you see on TV.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. I worked for Todd, for those of you that don't know, 20 years ago. And you taught me that. You taught me like what it means to be behind the scenes of some of the biggest names and the biggest brands in the world. And what people don't realize is that somebody's doing that work behind the scenes.
Yep.
Somebody's connecting the dots between the media that we see on TV and read in newspapers. And today it's all social media driven. But what are some of the biggest campaigns or some of your most favorite campaigns that you've ever been a part of?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm dating myself potentially here, but I think most people would remember the Live Strong campaign that was done with
Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong. And I would say that was one that gave the most like gratification, because it felt like it was both like culture shaping, but also generated a lot of awareness and fundraising for really important fights against cancer. So that's one that I love. We've done so many campaigns that to me were really good marketing and fun to be a part of. We got to reunite the 1980 Olympic hockey team for Allstate.
Oh, that's awesome.
Where it was the only time they had ever reunited since 1980. I think it's the only time they reunited while Herb Brooks was still alive, the head coach.
Right.
And Allstate had the kind of budget where you could go and secure every member of the team. We were able to do a 1-year NHL sponsorship and get the 1980 Olympic hockey team to skate at the NHL All-Star game against a team of NHL alumni. And so it was just like the stories that you heard and everything. It was just awesome. And it was, from a publicity and marketing standpoint, an absolute home run at the time. Mixing
Oh man, I
metaphors
mean,
there.
the media have to eat that up, but it does take a, and this is to me what's so powerful about brand storytelling is that a brand can do this work of bringing what people care about, which is sports and
Yeah.
athletes and the people that they grew up watching. I mean, that's the Miracle on Ice team, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
What was it like for you to watch the 2026 Olympics?
It was a lot of fun, and
That's
it's
awesome.
extra fun for us. We're working on an event that has been announced, will be much bigger, but it is going to be the Volleyball Women's World Cup, and
Oh,
so
cool.
we're working in collaboration. It'll be in North America, and it's a joint deal between the FIVB, which is the international organizing or the governing body, and then Volleyball Canada and USA Volleyball and the host committee. And so we're getting to relive that tension between the Canadian hockey team and the US team. It's been fun.
Oh, that's great. Women's volleyball specifically is, I feel like, on the
Yeah.
uptick.
Well, that's that.
Atlanta just got a team,
Okay. Very cool. Yeah.
a
I mean,
pro team.
it is growing. Two volleyball leagues now in the United States, and women's volleyball, I think, is poised to take that next step up for sure.
Oh, that's fantastic. We did some work back in the times that we worked together for AVP, right?
It was, well, I believe
Or beach volleyball?
it was beach volleyball, and I think it was the World Championships of beach volleyball, which actually led me to another job with Leonard Armato, who was Shaquille O'Neal's agent, Oscar De La Hoya's, and that was a fun experience as well.
Yes. And so it was after you and I worked together, you were brought on to a mutual client of ours. We were working with Passion Conferences and the End It
Yeah.
movement. And you had this epiphany. It was, what if people took a red Sharpie? Actually, I don't want to steal your thunder. Tell us
Feel it.
what the campaign ideation was like in the background
Yeah.
for the End It movement.
And quite honestly, I mentioned the Live Strong campaign before, and that Live Strong campaign started out where we were pitching, because we're PR people, like the New York Times. And I remember a New York Times reporter saying, "Hey, I'm not going to support your bake sale." That was their response initially when we pitched that. And literally three
To
months
Nike.
yeah, literally 3 months later, we had both then presidential candidates affirming the fact that they were wearing the Live Strong bracelets, and you could literally not find one. So the power of the Live Strong campaign was that a simple yellow band on your wrist represented that you were standing against cancer. Awesome. And so when we got to the End It movement, it was like, what could we do that would be an external sign, super simple to do, to say I'm standing against human trafficking? And that really was where the red X came from. And it was something anybody could do. There was no barrier in terms of cost or anything. It was just, I see this as wrong in society and I want to stand against it. And that's where it came from. And it was amazing. That took off, not to the level of Nike, because Nike's got some more dollars to put behind things. But it certainly had a super strong grassroots movement behind it.
Well, yeah, it had like this virility, this viral moment to it because it was so visual.
Yeah.
And you know, something that you shared back in those days too was it's relatively economical. All you needed was a red Sharpie.
Yeah.
And everybody could do that.
Yeah, and that was the goal. And we've heard of other things that have gone viral. I mean, you look at the ice bucket challenge. For a long time, everybody said we got to do just like the ice bucket challenge. We want it to go viral like I mean, there are these moments in time where the right idea connects with the right moment, and it takes off. And you want to put yourself in those positions where something simple like a red X or a bucket full of ice can be something that makes a big statement.
Yeah, I think that's so powerful. The yellow Live Strong bands were so iconic, just even in my college days and before. It was something every brand wanted to replicate. Everybody tried. I mean, how many bracelets were in the early 2000s
For sure.
umpteen campaigns,
Yep.
for sure. And so I feel like maybe stumbled on this formula for success for brands. What would you tell marketers today? Hey, this is how you create a campaign. This is how you get people to care.
Yeah, I think that it's a mixed bag and it's a combination of ingredients. There's a lot of clever people out there. And quite honestly, there's a lot of clever campaigns. And sometimes we remember the campaign, but you don't remember the brand it was for. You'd be like, oh, this was really
like
cool.
a Super Bowl ad.
Like a Super Bowl ad, right? Really creative storytelling. But the best storytelling ties back to whatever the mission is or the message that they want to tell and the brand in a really dynamic way. And I think that is the hardest part. It's because it's easier to be clever and good storytelling. It's extra hard to be able to weave that intimately into a brand's DNA and the story that they're trying to tell. That's where, to me, I get the most excited about marketing.
Yeah. Do you think, just with your background in sports, do you think athletes and tying into how brands and athletes tell stories together, is that part of it? Has that been part of your career success?
Yeah. I mean, so the athlete side of thing is really interesting. Athletes are a double-edged sword. We've heard a story or two about athletes who have gone the wrong way. So you have to be really careful in selecting who you're working with. But when you talk about a brand, a product or whatnot, you want performance, you want reliability, you want all these things when you're purchasing a product. And a lot of times athletes represent those things really well. Mm-hmm. And so if you've got a lesser known brand, something that doesn't have the brand cachet of a Nike, let's say, but you've got one that needs to be known, partnering with the right athlete will automatically or very quickly establish that brand as something that people should pay attention to. Maybe because I'm a fan of that athlete or I respect that athlete or that athlete is known for some attribute that is what the brand also wants to be known for.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting because back in the first, when brands would sponsor athletes, people didn't really know the athlete. So it was giving people and consumers access, I feel like, to someone that they did respect and looked up to. Well, now with social media, we know these people and we see them.
Yeah.
I think about the Netflix Full Swing series and what it's done for the game of golf. Specifically, people now feel like they're more invested in these athletes as people. And so brands used to be the purveyor of that.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting when you're talking about athletes and influencers. We were working with Motorola several years ago when Chad Ochocinco was kind of the guy in the NFL. And he was building up his social media following. And it was a time when we recognized Chad Ochocinco has 700,000 followers who all love Chad Ochocinco. And we were out and we're pitching USA Today, Wall Street Journal, and they've got their circulations of whatever those numbers are. But some of those people are into business or into gardening or these different things. Everybody that followed Chad was into what Chad was talking about. And it was the time when we realized influencer marketing is going to be a super powerful tool. And we created the Chad Ochocinco News Network, the Ochocinco News Network.
Oh,
and we were
remember that.
Yeah, we were unveiling news on that time direct from Chad Ochocinco, and it took off. It was amazing. So today, I mean, we just, that used to be where you'd hire an athlete spokesperson. Now we work with so many influencers, and that's how so many consumers are getting their information.
Well, it's we've always said citizen journalism is a thing, like it's been a thing. But now anybody who wants to be a commentator on current events, if they want to, create a channel all about whatever their interest is, we were talking about Substack earlier. There's just so many ways to get the message out there. It's crowded, Todd. What do you think today? Like how do you cut through the noise?
I think that you have to be a marketer. So if we're talking public relations, there was a time when you could be a PR specialist and you had all these media to pitch and you built relationships and all that. And those elements are still important, but now you to break through, you need the visual component. You need to tap into social. What is social media doing? What are influencers doing? How are you leveraging the earned media for the value that that provides and the domain authority when consumers are searching? Like it is just so much more of a integrated, robust view that you have to have of things. You can't be single-mindedly focused on earned media, in my opinion.
I totally agree with that. And I think there's still some like time honored tactics, if you will. And you used to say all of the time, like, you're not in charge of the outcome, you're in charge of the effort.
Yeah.
And so what are you doing to work the machine,
Yeah.
if you will? And so I would love to know, just are there any time honored truths about this business?
Yeah, no, for sure there are. And I would say, number one, do the work.
Right.
When I started out, I mean, we still had like the old days, right? And at that time, there were those in our industry that would be like, well, the media don't want me calling them. I'm bugging them. I don't want to bug them. Like, our job is to make sure that they know the news that's out there. And by doing the work and finding the best way into that reporter or building the relationships, you had the best opportunity to have your story heard and considered. And so now it's harder to get to media. They don't all work out of a newsroom and they don't answer their phone. And so a lot of people, lazier, will just blast out emails and try and hope, like they're casting the line and they're hoping somebody pays. Like, we encourage our team, you need to be like checking out their social following. You need to, their social media, and you need to look into what interests them, and your pitches better be tailored because you're going to have to break through all that competition. And if you know their dog's name and you're pitching dog food, or you know what their interests are, it opens a door. So I think it goes back to do the work and be a pro. And then the other thing is engage them in a dialogue. Do not be a robot and just pitch your pitch. Like, we talked about it with you when you were right out of college, and you did a great job of this. You built relationships. If they didn't want that story, I want to know the next time I'm pitching them that I'm going to bring them a story that they're going to want that much more.
Yeah, man, I was so nervous to call a reporter and to tell them stories. I don't know if you remember, I worked for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution right out of school, and I was actually just doing like football stringer work at a Falcons game. And I'm in the press box and I'm telling the beat reporter for the Falcons that I'm going into PR and I hope you don't hate me now.
Yeah.
Like, that was my posture.
Yeah.
And he was like, I would never, like, you guys are so, what you just said, mission critical to this world is you feed us information that otherwise we don't know. We were we're the first news aggregates, so to speak. But we're aggregating stories, I think, people really want to hear because it's the good news for the most part. We're not doing a whole lot of, I don't want to do a lot of crisis communication.
Yeah.
But
no,
what's your take on?
You're absolutely right. And if you are good at your job and you understand that reporter is a human being and that reporter may have a family, they may be dealing with some crisis, they may be like, they're a human, I'm a human. Let's communicate as human beings. Let's have passion on our end for what we're doing, and let's have compassion for what they're dealing with. And let's just be smart about it. And so there's people that are bad in our industry that are callous or they're not smooth about what they do. And they kind of give PR people a bad name, but we are a massive resource for journalists.
I think so too. And I think if you're doing it thoughtfully, and the one, I think, stressor about being a publicist is that there's really never an end to this work. Like you could always tell someone else your story. And I've done this my entire career, like tell the receptionist. Like, I don't care if you get the beat reporter on the phone or if you get the producer on the phone, like tell the receptionist and ask for help. You don't get what you don't ask for.
Yeah.
Right. So just like bulldog it. You got to get out there.
Well, and the other thing is, if you're up and coming, if you are working with a journalist, like too often PR people aren't good at facilitating the interviews and getting them the information they need. That relationship with that journalist is our form of gold. And the better you are at servicing them, the more they know, hey, if Brittany calls, she's going to have a good story. And if I like the story, she's going to facilitate the interview. She's going to get me the information. This is going to be smooth. That's gold. And we have so many people on our team that have built such deep relationships that when they've got another pitch, they will call their friend at this outlet or that outlet and ask them to put them in touch with another reporter. And the fact that those reporters are willing to put them in touch validates the fact that they're like, this is going to be a good thing for you, to their colleague.
Yeah, you're a professional networker. Working in this gatekeeping industry. Like news reporters and media outlets and influencers are the ones deciding what stories get told. Yeah. And at the end of the day, this is a relationship business.
For sure.
I love it so much. Mark Altieri, I have this fun story that I tell about him all the time. You can share this with him. He's like, what about this? What about this? What about this? Did you do this? Did you do this? And he just constantly would like challenge you to think, have you gone the extra mile?
Yeah.
I would love to know, like, if you're talking to college students or people, you said that like starting out in this career, like what's your number one piece of advice, or what piece of advice were you given when you were starting out?
I don't know that I was given amazing advice starting out. I definitely have advice for people. One, what I love about this industry is whatever your passion is, cosmetics, sports, boating, grilling, there is a job in PR in all of those industries. And I have found that if you are passionate about what you're doing, you're going to be a better storyteller and you're going to be more enthusiastic about generating results. So that would be my first thing, is you can combine this career with what your passions are, and it'll feel way less like work every day. So that'd be the biggest thing.
We called this Spark session, I don't know if you know this, or we called this podcast the Spark session, because you would lead these ideation sessions where you'd get a bunch of people in the room to talk about, well, what if we dropped, 1 million balloons out of a helicopter? It's just kind of crazy pie in the sky ideas for brands. Have you always been that big of a thinker? I mean, campaigns like Live Strong and Ended and what you've done for the Olympics.
Yeah.
What makes you think big?
I don't know. Yes, I definitely think big. I was a dreamer growing up. But like I said earlier, the biggest difference is there's a lot of creative people out there. What I've learned over decades now is connecting creativity with those pivotal brand essence, DNA elements, or the story that we need to tell with that product, and the ability to combine creativity with that storytelling is where the magic happens. And to your point about the brainstorm sessions, pooling the talent that you've got within your organization, and they don't have to all be marketers. They are just people living in the world, and so there can be the spark of a great idea from anybody. And then sometimes it's our job to take that initial spark and massage it into a campaign that truly is going to break through for the client.
That really is what brands are looking for, is like, how can I bring a team of smart people together that can create a connectivity point? Tell me about your team at the Brand Amp. Like how, and you've built teams over your whole career. Like, what is the secret to building a great team?
I believe in my position, the secret is finding people who you believe can one day replace you. That is my dream, is to be absolutely not needed here. Pure
Oh, I
nirvana.
love that.
The second thing that I learned, I had a client come up to me because in the early days, we did PR and we did events and we did all these different things, and we could do them all. But a client said, "Hey, that's awesome. You do all these things, but what are you best at? Because I don't believe you can be great at all of those things." And so what we have built is a team of experts in all these different marketing verticals working under one roof on one P&L to eliminate the silos that too often get in the way of great storytelling. Because the social media team wants to do this, the PR team wants to do this, the influence, like they all need to be tied together. So we're out there with the same messaging across all these different verticals.
So tell me, drill down deep. Does that mean when you say verticals, do you mean like subject matter experts in those areas or pockets of expertise?
Influencer, paid digital marketing, PR, events. Like we have our
but not like motorcycles and grocery stores.
So no, but that's a great point. That's a sub thing. So within our social media team, we've got people that are on the Indian motorcycle account that are former motorcycle journalists or people that were influencers in that industry, because you know it from the different industries you work in. If you're not speaking in the right language, if you say, like in the golf industry, if you use the wrong terminology in your social media post, people are going to be like, what are these guys aren't authentic. And authenticity is key. So it is both the expert in the different marketing verticals, and then below that is category expertise in the different businesses that we're in.
Well, and I do think that that's important. You're going to gain some of that category expertise as you grow. At Todd, I don't know if you recall, we did an event out at a golf course in Palos Verdes for TaylorMade Adidas. And I had not played golf since I was 14 years old at that point in time, which credit to my dad for putting me in a golf clinic as a teenager. But we got out there with those TaylorMade executives, and we decided to play a round of 9 after the event.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about indoctrination. And I swung that golf club and drove the ball maybe 150 yards straight down the fairway. And they were like, "We don't believe you've never played golf. Like, surely you're lying." I whiffed at every other shot after that.
Hey, you had one great shot, and that brings a lot of people back. That brings a lot of people back in golf. But yeah, I mean, in an industry like golf or boating or motorcycles, like those guys live and breathe that. And it is important as communicators to be able to get up to that level as quickly as possible.
Well, and I love that, because you're giving people experience and they're getting to, find out what they're passionate about. But it sounds like you hire people who are passionate about storytelling and connecting others. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, 100%. It is.
Yeah. And getting people with that drive. You got to want to do this work.
Yeah.
You've either got that or not.
And it's interesting because at our agency, we've got a number of people that have been here up to 18 years with us.
That's some longevity.
We also have people that burn out in 4 months. And for us, that's a validation of the brand that we've built and the DNA of the people that make it or don't. Those that love it and buy in and embrace our way of doing things, they stay on for decades. Those that don't kind of self-realize and are like, it's hidden for me.
Well, and I think that's okay.
It's
right.
Great. Yeah.
One of our core values is enthusiasm wins. And I say it this way: if you're not excited, you're not invited. So, and I don't mean that literally. It's just more of like, it's okay if this isn't exciting to you. Like, your calling is your calling.
Yeah.
And we had a team member come to Andy and I and say, "I'm just not excited anymore." And that was how he turned in his resignation. I thought Man, that's so honoring, because he wasn't saying, I don't love the company, or I'm not a person of character, competence, and chemistry,
Yeah.
which are our other 3 C's. He just said, this is not my calling anymore.
Yeah. And that's
Well,
great.
that's
And
great.
everybody's on their own journey, right? And you've built something special, and people come there and they love it. And if their life changes or it's not for them, hey, go find your journey, because there's other people that would love to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been such an honor to build something, and I do feel like I learned everything I know from Todd Brooks.
That's not true, but I will take that for sure. Thank you.
Well, and you mean so much to me too, professionally, but also personally. I know faith is something that's important to you.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about just what grounds you as a human.
Yeah, I mean, certainly my faith is what grounds me, and it's what drives me. And as I get older, I find myself going deeper and deeper into God's word, and looking at more ways that I can make an impact with my faith through my work, and blending those together. And so that's been a journey that I would say really has taken foot over the last maybe 5 years, more so. And it's amazing what the response is from people. Like, how many people are like, oh my gosh, like they lean in when they know there's
Right.
that connectivity through faith on things. So it's been amazing.
Well, and my husband, Andy, was a pastor at a church before we started SeeSparkGo. And so one of, I feel like, the grounding things at SeeSparkGo is this idea to shepherd, that we get to shepherd people, whether it's in their career or their, personal life. Like, we are hopefully inspirational wisdom purveyors.
Well, and I think,
life.
in today's business climate, I think it's about being a person of character. And I want people to know I'm a person of faith by how I act, not me preaching at them necessarily. But when there are opportunities, and I talk to a lot of our staff, and people come to me in vulnerable moments, and I offer up, I'm way more upfront about my faith and praying for somebody, and offering that to them. And it's the reception I get 99.9% of the time is one of thanks and curiosity. So I would encourage everybody to find those opportunities.
I love that saying, or adage that says, preach the gospel at all times, and if necessary, use words.
Yep, exactly right.
That, like, it is about how you live your life. And you do that. To me, you're so authentic. You're such a great leader of people, but you're also a great storyteller and a great strategist. And you've helped so many people be successful. And at the end of the day, I think the best reward of this work is helping other people be successful.
Yeah, for sure.
You're on your way to replacing yourself.
You're way too kind. And yes, I am on my way to replacing myself. Yes.
I am your mini me, I hope, at least.
You have done incredibly well. And I know that'll continue.
Oh, Todd, well, we like to end these episodes with just is there a favorite book or story that you remember as a child, or maybe it's a book you're reading now? What has impacted you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, just carrying off this part of the conversation, the men's group I lead on Fridays, we're in and still studying Practicing the Way by John Mark Comer. And it is a great book. It is challenging. It'll make you realize, even if you have a strong faith, that you probably you don't have enough of Christ's dust on you. So it's a great book.
Yeah, you can always go deeper.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that. I love that. Todd, thank you so much for joining us on the Spark Session. Where can we find you online?
Well, not on social media. I'm in the witness. I'm in the witness protection program, but
only on the Spark Session podcast.
There you go. But the brandamp.com is our company. So
thebrandamp.com.
Yep.
You guys check it out. Todd Brooks, one of my favorite people in the world. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.